Yo, what's going on guys, it's Sky here and welcome to my 2017-2018 Premier League predictions. I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while now, but I've been on holiday or I've been recording my Reading FC 2017-2018 season vlog. And there'll be another one coming out tomorrow because tonight is going to be Reading versus Aston Villa, but I won't go into any more of that because I'll save that for the vlog. So I've been wanting to do this for a little while now. And I know that we've already had the first weekend of the Premier League already and we've had the first set of results, but my top 20 was already kind of created and the results haven't really changed much of what I've gone with. Maybe one or two have changed, but it's pretty much the original copy anyway. So yeah, I got them all written down here, so let's see how this goes. Also, I would like to say that with the relegated teams or maybe even the top four teams, maybe not top of the league, but maybe the sort of second, third, fourth, they're just who I think will finish in most places. I don't think they'll finish necessarily 20th dead on. I just think they may finish that they will finish in relegation. That's all I'm going to say about that. So this is all opinion, so don't be offended or anything because I could be completely wrong. There's some teams who I don't really keep up with enough, so I don't really know much facts about them. I don't really know how well they've done in the transfer window. I'm just basing it off of what I know. So I do apologise if I get something wrong. Please correct me if I do. Right. Anyway, so let's start with my top three relegation candidates. Bottom of the league, we will do this in an order, but my bottom of the league is Brighton. And Brighton are a team that have been working for years to try and get into the Premier League. They've done really well. They did really well last season to finally make it. But I feel like all of that build-up is going to lead to them being having a downfall completely. Because even though they played well against Man City, I do think that was like open day fever and the whole sort of, we're at home. First game in Premier League, we're against a huge team, so the players were more up for it, the atmosphere was banging, but I just feel they're going to get quite demotivated through the season. They got a lot of experience in there, but I actually think that might be their downfall, because they haven't got enough youth, I don't feel. I could be wrong about that. They got goal scorers, but they haven't got enough youth or, something else. They got a lot of experience, but they're just quite an averagely old team. And so I just think they may struggle against some of the other teams, the younger teams maybe, in the Premier League, especially the ones that have been there for quite a few years now. And so I just think they will get relegated next season, this season, and they'll be coming back down to the Championship. In number 19th, I've gone with Crystal Palace, and the reason why I've gone with Palace is because even though they got players like Zaha and everything, they were close to getting relegated last season. I know they got Frank de Boer now, but I don't think he's going to be able to help Palace that much. But defensively, they're not great, as we saw the weekend when they lost 3-0 at home to Huddersfield, which is huge for Huddersfield. I'll get onto them later. But yeah, Crystal Palace, I just think they're going to struggle again this season, and I really do think they will. I don't think they'll survive the drop this season. I really don't. In 18th, I've gone with Swansea City. And again, quite like Palace, they were close to getting relegated again last season. And like Palace, they have Zaha. In this case, it's Swansea, they have Sigurdsson. Now, they've been rejecting bids left, right and centre for Sigurdsson. I mean, 50 mil was one of them. 50 mil for Sigurdsson. How does that even make sense? He played for us. He was like our best player at one point, but I don't know, 50 mil, wow. And they still rejected it. That's because they know that without Sigurdsson, I do feel that they would definitely go down. Again, this is not me being biased because I'm a Reading fan or anything, because, there's some Swansea players I actually don't mind. But I just feel they've gone quite stale. And yeah, I just think that their time's up in the Premier League. And in 17th, also another team that I feel has gone quite stale is Stoke City. Now, this is one of the teams I haven't really kept up with much. I don't really know how well they've done in the transfer window. I know they got a draw away at Southampton, which is a good result. But I think Swansea, again, are going to be a team that struggles this season. I think that this year they will definitely go down. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Swansea, really. Now, that may have surprised you guys. You guys may have thought I might have said teams like Huddersfield, Newcastle, Burnley. Nah, I've got to go with those three, unfortunately. In 16th, I've gone with Newcastle. So again, here we go, here's Newcastle now. I don't think they're going to be brilliant this season. They haven't done much in the transfer window at all, if anything. They've sold a few players, but they haven't done anything to bring in. But I think they're good enough to survive the drop. They usually are. Rafa is obviously going to do well. I just can't really see them getting much higher than 16th, to be honest. Oh, well, I can see them kind of finishing that bottom sort of 7, bottom sort of 8 sort of way, but I just don't think they'll finish any higher than that. I don't think they'll get relegated, though. Don't think that. In 15th, one of the other newcomers, well, the final newcomer is Huddersfield. Now, they got off to a cracking start of the weekend, winning 3-0 away at Palace, and they're now second in the league, which is just hilarious. Which I'm happy with. I mean, I like Huddersfield, even though they did knock us out of the playoffs last season. Huddersfield and Reading fans seem to get along quite well. We kind of respect each other because we're known as the Tin Pot Clubs, which is quite frustrating, but, fans will be fans, won't they? But, us and the Huddersfield fans, we get on quite well. The teams, it wasn't a great match at Wembley last season, but they deserve the win. They definitely played better than us, so they definitely deserve the win. So yeah, I put them in 15th because they brought in great players like Moy Williams. He obviously started on the bench, another ex-Reading player. Obviously we've got Casey Palmer back, which is who I would say probably their best player. That's my opinion. I do feel that he's probably their best player. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with for Huddersfield in 15th. In 14th, I've actually gone for Southampton. Now, usually, if it was like 2 seasons ago, I'd have thought Southampton would have finished top 6 kind of way. But they're a team that aren't doing much. They've gone quite stale again all of a sudden. It looks like they're going to lose Van Dijk, which is going to be quite bad for them. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Van Dijk's like the best centre-back in the Premier League or anything. But I do feel that he is their best defender. And if they lose him, they're going to struggle at the back a bit more. I don't think they'll struggle with relegation or anything. I just think they'll struggle to break through to the top half of the table this season. But that's my opinion. In 13th, I've gone with Burnley. I think they're going to have a decent season again. They had a really good season last season. I think they'll do it again. They proved that at Chelsea. Fair enough, Chelsea were down to 9 men. But to win at Stamford Bridge and go 3-0 up is incredible. And you have to give them props and credit for that. And I feel like they'll use that momentum now to keep going forward. And I think they'll be quite another good team, especially at home. Because their away form was shocking last season. But to get a win at Stamford Bridge to start off the season, I just think Burnley can have a lot of momentum now. And yeah, that's why I put them in 13th. In 12th, I've gone with Bournemouth. This is a team that have brought in some big players. We see Ake gone to them. We've seen Defoe gone to them. I would just like to say about Defoe that even though he is a cracking player, cracking striker, he did still get relegated with the team he was playing for. So don't get me wrong, he's great, and I like him, and a lot of people like him, and I know that I shouldn't say things like, oh, but he played for a relegated team, even though he still scored all those goals, sort of thing. But he's a great Prem striker, but I just don't think that he's going to be Bournemouth's big change. I don't think that's going to be a thing. I think bringing in players like Nathan Ake, though, is huge for him. And I just think that it's going to be a good season for Bournemouth. I don't think they'll finish top half of the table, but I think, with Eddie Howe still there, and he'll be there for a few more years, I should think. I think they're just going to keep building until they make it to that sort of top 8, top 7, and then they'll go from there kind of thing. In 11th, I've gone with Leicester, and the reason I'm going with Leicester is because I think they're just going to have an average season, to be honest. I think after last season, sorry, I was just listening outside, but I could hear some shouting. I think after last season, it's kind of like, they can't really do much worse than that except relegation, but they got too good of a team to get relegated, especially with the other teams that are in there. They had a cracking game against Arsenal to kick off the season. Vardy getting 2 straight away, and hopefully he'll be on fire again this season. That's all I can say, really. I just think Leicester will kind of be an average team this season. If they lose Mahrez, they may finish a bit lower than where I put them, but I don't know, we'll see. In 10th, we're now in the top 10 of the table. In 10th, I've gone with West Brom. They had a cracking season last season, finishing 8th, which is incredible for them. Tony Pulis, I'm not the biggest fan of his football style, but he gets the job done. He knows how to manage a team. He knows how to get the players going. So I'm just going to put them in 10th because middle of the pack, that's kind of where West Brom are going to finish this season. 9th, I've gone with Watford. They're a team that have brought in some big players like Andre Gray and Nathaniel Chalobah. Again, they got off to a cracking start against Liverpool in the 3-3 game. They were at home, fair enough, but still, it's credit to draw 3-3 with Liverpool, especially to score 3 goals against them. I think that's just brilliant. Even though Liverpool's defence did look very shaky, I felt like Watford were just quite clinical. And yeah, I just think that they'll finish kind of 9th. I don't think they'll finish much lower. I don't think they'll finish much higher. I think they're like Bournemouth. They're going to keep building each year, which is funny considering they both went up the same year as well, and they kind of stayed more or less together in the pack. And I just think that they're the 2 teams that are going to keep building and building. In 8th place, I've gone with West Ham. Now, West Ham had an awful season last season, considering they finished in a Europa League season the year before. Yeah, it's Bilic. I felt the pressure last season after the season before, but I feel like this season the only pressure he has is to finish, at least top half of the table, and obviously bringing in Arnautovic and Hernandez is going to be big for him, big for the club. They got some big name players in there, so I think eighth place is kind of where they'll finish. I actually think that they could finish either eighth to fifth. I think it could be any of those places. But obviously, they didn't get off to a great start against Manchester United, but Man United, I think, are going to be a very, very good team this season. In seventh, I've gone with Everton. I can't really say much about Everton, to be honest. They always tend to finish seventh. That always kind of seems to be their thing. It's usually seventh to 10th that they finish. Again, they brought in a lot of players. They went ham in the transfer window. They may finish higher than seventh. They may surprise me a little bit, but, seventh is where I'm going with for them. In sixth, I'm going with Liverpool. Liverpool's a tricky one because they're a team that don't seem to keep up with the other big boys in the league. Like the other big teams like Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, they brought in these big players like Lacazette, Lukaku, Morata. Liverpool brought in, Solanke and Salah. Now, don't get me wrong, they're good players and all, but they're not top three, top two contenders, in my opinion. I don't think that they're quite that quality yet. So Liverpool are a really strange team, especially if they lose Coutinho, then I don't think they're going to finish much higher than sixth. That's all I can go with for them. In fifth, I've gone with Chelsea. I don't think they'll finish in the Champions League spot this year. I think Conte might have that sort of Chelsea post-winning title fever, like Mourinho had twice or something. And and obviously they brought in players like Morata and everything. And I just kind of feel like the Chelsea are going to have that issue again, like what they had with Mourinho. But I feel Imo Conte is in my opinion, this is not probably a very bold opinion, but I think Conte is arguably the best manager in the Premier League. Now, I say that, but he didn't get off to a great start against Burnley, don't get me wrong. Now, he needs to get his team motivated now to get going, to keep going, especially when they got to go to Wembley to face Spurs next week. And, that's going to be a big game, I think, for both those teams, especially if Spurs wins. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Conte to get Chelsea going now. But I just think that this is going to be a season where they kind of drop back a bit after finishing first, and I think they're going to finish just outside a Champions League spot. Though, any of those sort of teams could win the FA Cup or the Capital One Cup or whatever, so yeah, we'll see. They may even win the Champions League for all we know, but I don't know. I don't know if I might do a Champions League predictions video. I don't think I will because I don't know enough about all the teams in the Champions League. I think I might just stick to English football for now. So anyway, moving into the top four of the Champions League spots, I am with number 4. This is not a joke. This is not the running meme that is going, but I've gone with Arsenal. Not because they always seem to finish 4th somehow, but mainly because I just feel that Arsenal have got a bit of a better team this season. With Kolasinac, I can't pronounce Kazan, whatever his name is, the defender, I can't pronounce his name, as well as Lacazette, who got off to scoring. Giroud came on and scored. Ramsey was looking sharp. They obviously got Özil and Sanchez still, I believe. I can't remember. But yeah, they just got a strong team, I think, now. They got a strong enough team to finish sort of top 4, top 3 again. Maybe even top 2. I doubt it, but, top 4 definitely for Arsenal. Obviously made it quite difficult against Leicester, but again, that was opening day fever, I believe. And I just think Arsenal will push on now, especially after getting their first 3 points of the season. So, yeah, 4 for Arsenal. In third, I've gone with Manchester City. And the reason why I got Manchester City is because, they're just going to be a strong team as per usual. I know that Pep kind of needs to win the title this season in order to keep his job, but I just can't see it happening. Not with the other 2 teams I have in my top 2. They obviously brought in some players, but they got let go of some players as well. Not really much to say about Man City. I just think Pep is just an awesome manager, and they got a great team, obviously. Hopefully, if Aguero doesn't get injured, they would be fine, but obviously, he does tend to always get injured, so we'll see what happens, we'll see. In second, I've actually gone with Spurs. I've gone with Tottenham Hotspur because they haven't really done much in the transfer window, but in my opinion, I really don't think they need to. I think Pochettino's a good enough manager. They've got this young team who are getting better and better every season, and I think this season they're going to be class again as well. Having Eriksen, Kane, Ali, all those players just, together, I think it's brilliant. I think they just got a really, really good team. Dembele looked good against Newcastle. Lloris is obviously going to look good. all season, but he's one of the best keepers in England right now. And yeah, I just think Spurs, they're never going to quite win the title, but they're always going to be challenging for it. It's always going to be Spurs versus someone, at least for this season and maybe one more season, but then we just got to see what happens. And then top of the league, the team that is going to win the Premier League, in my opinion, is Manchester United, and I think that's most people's opinions as well. They haven't done much for like, what is it, 5-6 years now? Which is weird for someone like me, and obviously a lot of other people who've grown up with Man United being top of England, top of Europe sometimes as well. And yeah, I just think that this is their season they're going to break through. Mourinho knows how to manage the team. He's brought in all these players like Lukaku, and they've just got such a good team. You know, Matic made it look easy getting past all his defenders. Martial looked great when he came on. Obviously, Lukaku looked great. Pogba looked great. I feel like for players like Pogba and Martial, this is going to be kind of like their breakthrough season now. Because in my opinion, Pogba could easily be the best player in the world. You know, if he really gets going now, he could easily be the best player in the world. But yeah, I just think this is going to be Man U season. So there you go, guys. That was my Premier League predictions for this season. I will also have my Championship predictions out. Oh, I'm not sure when it's going to be out, actually. Thursday, Friday, maybe? I'm not sure. I know that there would have been 3 games already gone in the Championship, but you know, I'm kind of stalling the Championship one just so I can see how it starts off early enough while the transfer window's still open and everything. I have got a list right here, but I'm not going to obviously say in this video, but I don't think I'll change it that much from this. I made this after week 1 of the EFL Championship, so hopefully, you know, you guys don't judge me for that. So yeah, I'll bring that out hopefully sometime this week. I'll also have a new sit-down video with Josh coming out tomorrow or Thursday. I don't know. I'm recording it tomorrow, and then it'll hopefully be out Thursday. Hopefully, yeah, cool. And then obviously I'll be doing the vlog ready for tomorrow for Reading FC versus Aston Villa. So yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please smash the like button below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.